Okay, here we are, starting off our Bant Knightfall League. We're on the play, solid hand. Alright, go ahead and keep. Unfortunate that we might have to telegraph a turn 2 Spell Queller, but we can also maybe make them believe that we're poisoned, so basically not attack with the Noble Hierarch. But a poison deck probably wouldn't do that either. Okay, it looks like we're playing against Tron. Turn 2 map. Okay, so I can either... Well, I think I'm supposed to just play the tracker. I don't think we're going to Spell Queller or anything. If anything, I'm going to try to Spell Queller an O-Stone once he gets Tron. Looks like we're going to be playing in turn 3 Tron. I do have a Collected Company, though. That's why I didn't want to hold up Spell Queller. If he's got any land, even if it's not a Tron land, he's going to be just holding up the map this turn. So like Pride Mage, of course, not the worst. Can maybe help me deal with a Worm Coil. Can maybe help me deal with like a... I don't know. I have a Spell Queller for the O-Stone, but I have a reasonable clock here. If I can company into a Knight, that would give me access to Ghost Quarter. So I can actually beat a Karn here, assuming my company is okay. A Worm Coil is going to be a bit more tricky to beat, I think, from this spot. Oh, he's Eldrazi. That's actually perfect. The fact that he's Eldrazi means that we're actually really in this game. Assuming there's no Ugin. I was gonna say it's actually pretty absurd how much Tron there is online. Just because if anybody watches my videos, you know, I end up playing as Tron like over 1 time per league. Which is pretty absurd. 2 Selfless Spirits. Alright, not the worst. We're just gonna take this damage. I'm pretty sure, unless we get Ugin here, I think we're gonna be fine. Selfless Spirit saves me from Oblivion Stone. I guess so does Spell Queller. But let's go ahead and just fire in. And I think I'm gonna just play the Voice of Resurgence. I don't think the Kasali Pride Mage does anything here. No, I'm not going to tap the Noble. I might want to chump with it. I don't know how that would come up. If he had like another Smasher, maybe. But it's going to be Ugin or bust here. I mean, if he has Ugin, we lose. If he's got another Reality Smasher, I think we're fine. Because he can't even really attack with both. He can. I mean, I have Lethal on the Reswing. I think I should just block with the Voice. The token gets bigger. And I save myself some damage. Maybe he's got like a Dismember or something. Or he might have, what is that card that exiles a creature with toughness 1 or less? Warping Whale? Might be his plan, but I have the Spell Queller. So I'm probably, if he just passes, I'm just not going to sack a clue. If he plays anything, obviously I just have a Spell Queller to win. Okay, so the only thing he can have is Warping Whale. If he's got double Warping Whale, let me count how much damage we have. If he's got double Warping Whale on both Selfless Spirits, I kill one, and then my Elemental, when Spell Queller comes into play, will still be a 5/5. Yeah, so he's just super dead. So I might as well crack a clue. Or is there anything I'm missing here that I would lose to? Dismember doesn't really do anything because it's net neutral on life. I guess you could have a Dismember and a Whale. I still have the Spell Queller though. But you could do both end of turn. I think we just untap. Crack a clue. Guess I might as well use my Noble Hierarch to crack a clue. Could get punished here? I don't think I can get punished here, though. I don't know. I'm not that familiar with the list, but I'm familiar with all the colorless spells that could possibly be in the format, and there's just not, there's just not enough. Alright, Eldrazi Tron, interesting. So normally against Tron, I would board in Stony Sounds, but on the draw against Eldrazi Tron, I don't think so. I think they do have O-Stone, but usually 3. We're going to bring in the extra Ghost Quarter. We're going to bring in 2 Reflector Mages, 2 to Gates, 2 Unified Wills. Maybe I should bring in Elspeth. It could be a huge blowout. Like Voice of Resurgence isn't particularly great. Spellskite isn't really great. I'm not in love with Spellcaller on the draw. I'll cut 2. Scavenging Ooze is pretty bad. Just basically a 2/2. I guess I can cut down on the land. I added a Ghost Quarter. Maybe I cut... guess I just cut a fetch. I don't love cutting a green source to put in a colorless source, but if I'm drawing Ghost Quarter, I'm pretty happy. I don't think the Eldrazi Tron deck plays any basics at all. So I can always just use that as a strip. So I think this is what we're going to go with. Not sure if I want Elspeth. It just seems so slow against a Tron deck. If he's got like Matter Shapers and Thought Knots and Reality Smasher, it's pretty good, but he can still go over the top with like Ulamog and stuff. I think it's just too slow. Though to be fair, like a card like Tracker might be slower. Enough slower that I would want. Don't want to go. I'm already at 25 creatures, which is like the lowest. Honestly, I kind of want to put a creature back in. Let's put a Spell Queller back in. And cut a spell. Not a path. Probably a Unified Will on the draw. I think Unified Will is solid, but if I don't have, like, it's not great if I don't have that many creatures, and he can also just have like a Matter of Shape or Thought Knot draw and know about it, have more creatures than me. I just wanted to make sure my companies are still good. So put the 26th creature back in. It's different than in standard because like the Noble Hierarchs and Birds are don't really count as hits. A lot of times with this deck, I company into like just a Noble or just 2 Mana Dorks, and it's really bad. We do have a Ghost Quarter, which is nice. I could Ghost Quarter him right away. I'm actually going to look up a list. Do they play Waste? They might. If they play a Waste, then it's not smart. Yeah, they play 3 Wastes? Really? I guess that makes sense. There's tons of Path to Exiles and Ghost Quarters. Let's look at another list just to be sure. Oh, they do play Wastes. Okay. I mean, I still think it's white to board in the Ghost Quarter, but I definitely don't want to Ghost Quarter him then. I'm just going to play Noble Hierarch. Okay, that's interesting. So, I think here... It's weird playing against this deck because they don't have, like, the Karn, you know? And won't always have, like, the Ugin. So, I don't know if I'm supposed to just Ghost Quarter him aggressively. I'd almost rather Ghost Quarter a Eldrazi Temple. But I can just play 2 Noble Hierarchs, which I think is best. If I play 2 Noble Hierarchs, I can Coco next turn and Ghost Quarter him. I'm just going to actually save some life. Oops. This is pretty weak to, like, Thought Knot Seer. Which is kind of unfortunate. Looks like he probably doesn't have Tron, which is nice. Ghost Quarter is pretty solid. I think we just pass and hold up Spell Queller. If he's got a Reality Smasher, that's kind of unfortunate, but I am just gonna... do I want to lose a land here? Yeah, it's fine. I'm just gonna go after Tower. It's pretty bad if he's got, like, another Spatial Contortion, but if he just rips the last Tron piece... Like, I know this deck doesn't play... he doesn't play Ancient Stirrings and stuff, but if he rips the last Tron piece, it's bad news for me. Because he can probably double spell. Hoping for a Thought Knot here, obviously, because then I can Spell Queller. But, yeah, it feels like it's going to be a Smasher. Isn't the end of the world. My inexperience against this deck is probably showing, because I basically don't really know what's in this deck. Alright. Do I want a voice? Do I want a voice or resurgence or a tracker? The voice just blocks Matter Shaper right away. I actually think I want the voice. Like, I don't have a land. Even if I draw a land. I guess if I draw a land, I can go Pride Mage. Obviously, if I draw a land, the tracker's better, I think. Because I don't really want to block the Matter Shaper if I don't have to. Because a lot of bad things can happen, you know? But it also just gives me an immediate, like, huge creature. Which is pretty nice. And the worst thing that could happen is him getting, like, another Matter. I guess him getting, like, another Temple or something would be bad, but I like keeping my life total high because he didn't all his dust. Okay, that's pretty unfortunate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if he has another Temple, he can cast that next turn, which is pretty bad. Pretty bad news. I guess he could have like a Smasher. Yeah, we just stacked for 6. It's gonna be a tough game to win now that he's got the all his dust. I mean, if I draw Negate or Unified Will in the next few draws, I can beat it. Okay, so it looks like he's gonna have it next turn. Thought-Knot Seer is really annoying. Because my plan of like flashing in Spellclair doesn't work. I think what I was supposed to do last turn was just play both my Pride Mages, honestly. Because then I attack him for 8. Now I'm just kind of like screwed. I think I have to play the Spell Queller and just hope that I rip a Counterspell or Coco. It's pretty bad. I guess there's a possibility he doesn't have land. Like, one of the cards in his hand is a Reality Smasher. I find it pretty unlikely that he doesn't have land. I mean, I guess it could happen, but just based on him not playing like other cheap spells, it's pretty bad. Alright, we're looking for a Coco or a Counterspell here. A Ghost Quarter. That's a huge draw. Wow. So we can keep him off of all his dust. Which is pretty insane. The question is, do I want to kill the map too? Or do I want to get in more damage? I guess it's killing the map is like the same amount of damage, right? Because I can just play my birds. So let's kill the map. Because that could keep him off of it for even another turn. If he somehow plays... He's going to play Reality Smasher, which can block my big dude. So I think he's just dead. I don't really know what he could play. Like a Wormcoil that they don't usually have. Actually, do I even sack? Is there any reason to not sack this? Let's think here. Like, one of his cards is Reality Smasher. One of his cards is All Is Dust. So his other card, like, there's just nothing. If he played a Wormcoil, I can just attack with just my Birds of Paradise. Well, I guess that's a reason. If he plays a Wormcoil, then... Oh, I have my Spell Queller. That's 4 damage with a Noble Hierarch. Let's just kill the map. I don't know. I don't think this can punish me in any way. And then I guess we draw step, hit the Temple. Because he could have his last Wastes in his hand. That's probably game. Well, this... I mean, I'm not usually like this deck feels... I guess it's just a lot different than... I guess it's just a lot different than Tron. But it feels to me like a bit less... like, your mana's better, but only in terms of, like, casting, you know, creatures. Where the Tron deck is, like, a little bit inconsistent, but... Okay, there's a Batter Skull. But this is what we were worried about, a Lifelinker. We just have the Flyer in case he has a Lifelinker. It's a tad inconsistent in the terms of like the things you're doing are much less powerful when you actually have your mana online. But I guess you don't have to play like cards like Chromatic Sphere and Stirrings and stuff. I don't know. I've never actually, I've never actually played against this deck. You know, I've seen a couple people play it at GPs and such, but alright, but there is round number 1.